Hello and welcome back to the Crafty Corner. I'm Janna and I am here with part 2 of this week's Saturday showcase for the Funkie Junkie. We have been having fun with the backgrounds and now we're going to put together some cards using our favorite characters, Twig and Stump. I'm going to be making one set of Twig and Stump characters and we're going to be moving them between different backgrounds to show how you can change the feel of a card by just changing the background, even if you use the exact same characters for each card. If you'd like to see which materials I'm going to be using, go ahead and pause here. All right, let's head over to the Crafty Corner. So today we're going to be focusing on this very cute duo, Stump and Twig. These guys are fantastic and probably my favorite characters of the newest Sizzix winter release. These guys are fantastic, Twig and Stump. So we're going to be creating these two characters today and creating a couple of props to go with them. Now, we already created 4 fun card bases, and each one of these depicts a different winter scene. So we're going to create our characters and then we're going to insert them into these scenes. For the first part, we need to create a base for our characters to stand on, and this is going to be a movable base. So I have some thick board here that I've cut down to size, and I also pre-cut myself a layer of Distress Heavy White cardstock, which has some adhesive on the back that we're going to stick to our thick board. So let's just go ahead and peel that off. There we go. I absolutely love double-sided sticky tape. It turns everything into a convenient sticker. So we're just going to take that and we're going to adhese that to our thick board. Perfect. With just a little bit of overhang, we'll take our tonic scissors and just snip that off. Now, since we have snowman, we are going to be adding some wintry effects to our baseboard piece. To do that, I'm pulling in some snowfall. So for snowfall, we are just going to take a little scoop and smush that onto our baseboard piece. Okay, I've got a little scoop and we're just going to smush that on so we get a nice snowy effect. That is good. All right, a little bit more. Just going to push that on here. And if we have chunkity bits of snow, that is just going to add more to our winter scene. So let's go ahead, just keep smushing that around. That should be pretty good. Almost. Just want to make sure this is all nicely covered. So, with the scalloped edges of our thick board, we have created some little snowdrifts. Okay, and here is our snowy thick board. So let's go ahead and set this aside while it dries and move on to the next part. So for the next part, we're going to be working with our characters. Now, I have the base pieces for these guys cut out of some black craft stock, and we're going to just layer them up and add some color to their accessories. And of course, I'm going to be bringing in my Sizzix die pick to make sure we have all the pieces popped out that aren't needed. Okay, let's start with Stump. Get the sticker peeled and pop out the extra pieces. So for the assembly of these guys, I'm going to do the 2 black and white pieces and then we'll put the rest on fast forward for the assembly. I'm going to color all of the pieces using some of the distress reinkers and then we will put all the pieces together. These guys are pretty straightforward and easy to assemble. It's really just a case of lining the pieces up and making sure that everything fits. Okay, and let's get the next one. There we go. Okay, and let's push out the pieces on Twig. That should be pretty easy. That's popping out very nicely using the die pick. And I'm just using my scrap piece of heavy stock to catch the pieces that I don't need. There. And just turning that around and popping out the other pieces. Good. And we'll just stick that on here. And then we will put the rest of this on fast forward while we work on our coloring and assembly. Ooh, let's get that one little piece out of there. Okay. So I'm going to be pulling in my distress reinkers, and as always, we're going to be using one of the Tim Holtz Fine Detailer water brushes to add our color. Here are Twig and Stump, and they look adorable. So we're going to go ahead and set these guys aside for the moment, and we're going to turn our attention to making them a few embellishments that can be added. All right, let's move these guys off to the side. There we go. So next we have the little Christmas tree that comes with the Stump and Twig characters. Got a few random pieces here to poke out, just using the Sizzix die pick for that. And then we're going to decorate the tree. This tree is absolutely perfect. It's scaled very nicely and very easy to add decorations to. So we're going to go ahead and pull some of the metallic droplets out of this packet and glue them to the tree. So we have a mixture of gold and silver in here, and I'm going to be aiming for some of these smaller pieces. Okay, just dump a few out here. Perfect. And we'll toss back some of the big ones. We don't need those right now. Great. And let's go ahead and add some drops to the tree. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That seems like a good number, and we'll go ahead and stick the little droplets on. These are so fun, and they've definitely been making their way onto most of my holiday projects so far this year. Absolutely loving these. So many fun pieces to play with. So by using different props, we can also change the feel of our card with these two characters. Changing out props by altering them with ideology is a great way to change the feel of a card, because if you are short on time, you could die cut a whole bunch of Stump and Twig characters and then just switch out their accessories, change the color of their hats and scarves, or change around the props that they are hanging out with to get a whole variety of cards. And as I'm pointing out today, just changing your backdrop can change the way an entire card feels. So hopefully this will give you a couple of ideas so that when you're making your winter greetings and holiday cards, you'll have plenty of ideas and have a few tips and tricks how to mix and match to get more variety if you are mass die cutting your pieces. Because sometimes you're running short on time and all you got time to do is just die cut a few things while watching a good TV show. Okay, so there is our tree. We'll scoop the rest of the droplets back into the container, set that aside, and we'll set aside our tree to dry. Next, let's go ahead and pull in some sentiment pieces. So for sentiments, I'm going to be using the sign that came with Twig and Stump. We're going to die cut a wooden sign out of that and use the words Winter Wishes in the really fun font that came with the die set. Now, to alter this wood grain Ranger cardstock, I'm going to be using a splash of Distress Oxide Spray brushed corduroy. So we're giving this a good quick shake, and then I'm going to spritz our foundation, and then we will add the oxide. A couple sprays with the water, a couple sprays with the oxide. I'm just going to use my fingers to move that around a little bit. Very good. All right, I'm just going to quickly clean up that little spill. Okay, a little bit of water. Nice, easy cleanup. If you clean as you go, then it makes it so much easier when you're trying to create. All right, so I'll be back in just a moment. We're going to dry this off with the Ranger heat tool, and I will probably splash it with a few drops of water. Okay, and here is the Distress Oxide dry. And again, this was brushed corduroy. So we've got our fantastic wood grain, and now we're going to bring out some of the ridges by scribbling a bit of Distress Walnut Stain Crayon over the top. So I'm just going to scribble that out, and then I will smudge it in with my fingers. That is looking more wood grain every second. Okay, so I'm just going to spritz my fingers off on the side. So I've got a little bit of water, and then just go in and smudge. There we go. Now the wood grain is really starting to pop. Absolutely loving that. There we go. Okay. Maybe that needs just a little bit more Distress Crayon. Just add that. There, now I'm starting to really like this. I'd lost some of the detail, but adding just a little bit more crayon allows us to bring that detail back. Perfect. Okay, so I'll be back in a moment. I'm just going to die cut this, and then we will have a sign that is yet another accessory that we can use with our characters Twig and Stump. And here's our die cut sign. We're just going to quickly pop those letters out. I definitely intend to save these. These letters could make a nice little sentiment for another project. So just quickly get those out. There. And now the only thing that I have left to do is die cut one more sentiment that we can use to mix and match on our card. So we have these great little pieces here, and these are from the Tim Holtz pocket card set. These come in all different sizes. We've got big ones, medium ones, and small ones. And we can also take a die cut and cut a sentiment out of here. So from here, I'm going to be using the bold text Christmas Sizzix set. So we're just going to take our die and cut right on the pocket card. And here are the results. So on the back of the card, I used some double-sided sticky tape to make this so much easier. I've got the extra letters that I can use at a later time or mix and match. And then we have the die cut piece. So I'm just going to give that a quick trim so this will be ready to use if we want it. Very good. All right. So let's go ahead and bring our base back in, and we're going to add our snowmen to it. So I'm just adding a little bit of glue along the base here. I'm going to place Twig right there. Then we'll go back for Stump. Okay, we'll just place those two side by side, and I'm going to add my base. And let's see, I'm gonna put them just like, let's see. Whoop, lost an arm. That's okay, we can reattach that, no problem. Maybe I need to make that arm just a little bit shorter. There we go, I'm liking that better. Side by side like that. Then we can add our base right here. Okay, so I'm just going to hold that a moment while that dries, and then we're going to see how these guys look on some different backgrounds. Okay, let's check out this duo on some different card backs. So first, let's bring in our sparkly background with Nordic. We're just going to slip them on right here, and those guys look right at home in a wintry wonderland. And in this case, I would probably go in with a label sticker and add a sentiment right in the corner, or even perhaps a piece of thick board with a sentiment quote on it. So this would be option 1. Now let's slide them off there, set this background aside. Option number 2, we bring them in over here and there. They look really nice with that snowy background with the pine pattern. And for our sentiment, I would just slip winter wishes right behind them, just like that. And there we go. Card number 2. So let's check out our third option. For number 3, we can slide them onto our funky Nordic background, just like this. And then we can take our wooden sign and put that right at the top of the card. There we go. We have yet another fun wintry scene. Okay, and scene number 4. Let's bring these guys in here. And in this case, we could also bring in our tree. Take a look at that. Whole different scene. So just using 2 characters and a few props, we can change the whole look and feel of a card just with a few things. And we could even slip in our sentiment right behind them. So with a few options, you can create a whole different variety of cards. Thank you so much for joining me here today at the Crafty Corner for this week's Saturday showcase for the Funkie Junkie Inspiration Avenue blog. I hope that you've had some fun and gained some Christmas holiday inspiration. And I definitely had so much fun creating with Twig and Stump. These guys are such fun characters, and I know that they're going to be a seasonal favorite. So until next time, happy crafting.